bit. Let me adjust. Oh, that's kind of good. We'll just leave it at this. Just leave it at this already. Anyway, guys, welcome to Ghosts of Hawaii. You know who? We got a special treat for you tonight because I know that when this wonderful person comes on, we have great content. We have great conversations. So tonight we're going to be talking. And so first, before I go any further, sorry about being a little bit late. We had to kind of like fix some technical stuff, and so the tech stuff has been situated and good. But tonight we're going to deviate a little bit, like I did one other time, I think, or two other times, and we're going to go from ghosts to the outer limits. That's where we're going to go tonight. 13 souls. Thank you for being here. Janin, thank you for going. We got 8 people already. 8 people for Faye. Yes, it's Faye Okamoto. If you remember her, she's been on several times, and we've had some fantastic conversations about the paranormal. As a matter of fact, the paranormal is in Faye's home. Where are the UFOs? They're above you, my friend. Go out and look out the window. Look up into the sky, and they should be right there. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you for whoever gave the like. So tonight, I'm going to be talking with UFOs with Faye. We've had conversations outside of YouTube and everything, and we talked about this at length because she's had like several experiences. So tonight we will be talking about that. So instead of talking ghosts tonight, we're talking UFOs, talking the paranormal overall. I'd like to welcome from beautiful haunted New Wanu, the one and only Faye Okamoto, who has her own fans, by the way. Thank you for being here tonight, Faye. You look wonderful. How are you doing this evening?
Doing good.
Okay,
How
awesome.
are you?
I've had a long day. You ever had some? They're here to pick you up. You gotta go. I understand, Alan. Have a safe trip with them when you go wandering the galaxy. I had one of those days where I went out. I was supposed to go and do something, and I did, do what I'm supposed to do. And long story short, I don't know if you ever had those kind of experiences. Like, hey, show up over here. We got to do something. And I went, and it's like, why did I show up? It was that kind of a day. But besides that, pretty good. We saw each other just the other night, didn't we? What was that, Monday?
Yeah.
Monday, and everything was crazy on Monday. Everything was out of this world. And yes, Alan, Nanu Nanu. It was out of this world. We not with UFOs, but with ghosts. It was a fairly active night. You were affected by that for a while, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You,
I
you
was.
what were you
Actually, it was
what were
hard.
you what were you experiencing? What were
What
you
was that?
experiencing?
Was I what?
What were you experiencing when?
Oh, what was I experiencing? Just early on, I just kind of felt dizzy. So I was taking some blur videos, and then I just started feeling just a little dizzy.
Hmm.
Um, and then it got worse progressively, just worse and worse. And then that's when I told you, you know what, I have to go and sit down. So I did. And then when I sat down, I started to feel nauseated, and Joseph was in the back seat, and he was zapped. So something up there was just affecting both of us.
Yeah, it was crazy. And one thing I love about you is that you are such a trooper. It's like, yes, let's go out there, let's face it, let's do it and get it done. So thank you again for that other experience that we had the other night. So tonight we're going to talk about UFOs. And before we talk about, like your encounters that you had, Neil, it's good to see you. Everyone that's here tonight, awesome. Did you have an interest in UFOs before that, or you just never really thought about it?
Before I've seen anything.
Yeah, before you saw that.
Yeah, before I saw my first one, I didn't believe they existed. I mean, I kind of thought, um, I was kind of a skeptic,
Mm-hmm.
and I just thought that people who say, "Oh, I've been abducted" and all that, I thought they were kind of nuts. But I kept my comments to myself, and I just I guess I'm the type of person who needs to see to believe.
Yes.
And that's why, even when we go ghost hunting, I'm always about debunking things and just trying to see, oh, let's try to recreate that and see if it was something that is possibly there, or I don't like to just be that person of, oh my God, that was a ghost. Well, let's find out if that was something paranormal, or if that was something like a glare or whatever. So I have to see to believe. And yeah, before I saw the first one, I wasn't a believer. I believe you saw something, but I myself just wasn't one to say, oh yeah, I believe they exist. I mean, but if you think about it though,
Mm-hmm.
it is kind of ignorant to think that in the entire universe we're the only things that are alive. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question, Faye. What would you, and it sounds silly, but I would really like to hear your opinion on it. The difference between experiencing ghosts and experiencing a UFO event.
Hmm. Well, for me personally,
Yes.
um, seeing the UFO, that's exactly what it is. It's unidentified. I don't know what it was. All it looked like to me was something up in the sky, floating there, flying way faster than any military helicopter or even jet. And it's just something that's there that I saw with my own eyes. And I'm not the only one. It was on the news.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody caught it on their phone. And when it comes to the paranormal, I don't know. I don't know what they are. I really don't know. For either one, I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are. But I've never come close to a UFO, if that's what you mean. I've seen them only from way far, far away.
Mm-hmm.
And with the ghosts, I'm sure for those of you who have watched my interview with Obake the last time where I talked about shadow people, I mean, that's a matter of, you know, maybe about 20 feet that you come in contact. So you are way closer, much, much closer. And yeah, the proximity, I guess, that's one of the differences. I've never been zapped. I've never been taken away on a ship on a UFO or anything. But I have been zapped by spirits. Just like when we went investigating on Monday, I got zapped, and that's only happened a few times where I just can't investigate. I have to sit down. The energy is just drained right
Mm-hmm.
out of me, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't function. I have to recoup. I have to drink some Powerade.
There you go. We're hoping for that Powerade
With some
sponsorship.
coffee or
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I think it is? I guess because with my experience with the UFOs, I mean, it was plenty, plenty, plenty to deal with. Like I said, just about an entire month. They call it a flap when you just see them every single night, and that's what happened. It was incredible, but and I think I can maybe feel it a little bit differently because I mean I've done everything. I've been like out in the field and looked up in the sky and I saw those classic triangular shaped object. It was huge. It blocked out the. It was a clear night. It blocked out the stars. I've seen the ones that look like stars. I've seen ones that look like orange lights that are just zapping. I've seen all kind of stuff. But the difference to me between an experience with UFOs and an experience with ghosts is that at least we have a little bit better understanding about the whole ghost thing. You know what I'm saying? We have a little bit better. We can kind of like narrow it down with what they could possibly be and what we're dealing with. But when you see something like that up in the sky doing crazy things,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I told you this, Faye, but and I may have mentioned it before, but on one occasion with the UFO flap in Kaneohe in 1995, we had binoculars. It was about, I swear, it was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was eerie because we were out in the field, but we started hearing dogs howling and stuff. So we went up to a bunch of people that are outside, and they got their heads up into the stars and looking at things. And we had these binoculars, and I put them up to my eyes. And I'm going to tell you something strange, man. This is really out there, but the object that I saw was almost like round. It was round on the bottom. It had like a triangular shape on the top, and no joke, Faye, it looked like a humanoid figure was spinning around it. For real,
Wait,
I saw what looked like an alien.
really?
For real, no freaking joke
What do,
about.
what do you mean? What do you mean by spinning around it?
It was spinning around the very okay. You know what a pyramid looks like. So at the very top of the pyramid, that pointy end of the pyramid, it was
Yeah.
spinning around that, and it looked like it was wearing like a white suit or something because the object is orange, and you could see like the orange light going up against the figure, the humanoid figure, but the top part of it kind of looked white, like it was just all white, and it was spinning around there. It looked really crazy. It looked like something that you would probably buy in a store, like a toy or something, but it's up there and it's doing its thing, and it's a humanoid figure. So yeah, I saw what looked like an alien, no joke. So
Oh my
but
God, that's so crazy.
yeah, but you can't really connect with that. Whereas a ghost, you can connect in some way. I think
Mm-hmm.
so. That's my whole thing behind it. But yeah, enough about that. That was
Wow.
just crazy, seriously crazy. Um, but I'll
I'm
never
looking
forget
at
it.
the
Huh?
I'm looking at the live feed right now, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say hi to everybody.
Sure. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody.
Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, everybody was saying hi.
Janine says she's
One of
been seeing
your
lights in Vegas. I'm sorry. Go on.
one of your subscribers, Kayo, said, "I think we all didn't believe at one time, but after seeing more weird objects in the sky, more are being believer." Oh yeah, definitely. Like you have to see, for me anyway, you have to see to believe, And once you see, you're just kind of like, "Whoa, what am I looking at?" And still, there's a lot of people that, when I tell my stories to, I'm just like, "Oh my God, this and this happened," and they're just kind of like, "I believe you saw something, but." I'm just saying it's okay. Maybe one day it'll happen to you, and then you'll be a believer too.
Exactly. 13 Soul says something funny. He said it got stuck outside, maybe, poor thing.
The door closed.
Yeah, get me back in, let me in. I can't breathe the, oxygen forever. I'm from Mars. But whatever it was, God, I mean, to this day, I'll never forget it. But anyway, we're going to go and because, I mean, I got freaky shit, I mean, and we'll talk about the freaky stuff
Oh yeah,
later.
you're gonna share your stories tonight too.
Yes, we're going to recap some of the
Definitely. You
weirdness.
need to share. You need to not just be the interviewer. You need to be the interviewee. I'm gonna interview you tonight.
Oh my God, we're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna play mental hopscotch or something here. That's all good. So, um, for you, your first sighting was how many years ago?
um, I'd like to say probably around at least 15 years ago. Maybe 20. No, not that long. Not that long. Maybe about between 15 to 18 years.
15 to 18 years.
Yeah.
The beginning of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, do you remember when that thing happened? The UFO thing? Do you remember what year that was?
Yes, I'm tonight's special guest.
Here. JoJo was already born, right? So it had to be less than 16 years. Maybe about 15 years then? Yeah. I'm trying to ask Sean, but he's so sick right now. He got his COVID shot and he is not feeling good.
Oh, poor guy. I understand the
Yeah.
feeling. I do. Um, so I
Yeah.
mean, I guess for everybody, right, with UFOs or even ghosts, that's the thing about the paranormal. You're just going about your daily thing, right? And I know you love the beach and everything, so you're just
Yeah.
going about your business, right?
Yeah, so I wasn't even at the beach. I was at home.
Or at home.
And my friend called me from the beach. He was at Alamoana Beach. And he called kind of frantically and he said, "Hey, Faye, can you see the beach from your house?" And I said, "Yeah, I can, but I have to go on my garage roof." And he said, well, then go, because you need to see what I'm looking at. There's a bunch of us down at Alamoana where the surfers go out, and we're all staring at this orange glowing egg, like it looks like an egg, just floating there above the ocean. And I said, what? What do you mean glowing? What are you talking about?
Hi,
And he said,
Funko.
just look.
Go on.
Yeah, he said, just look. Hi, Funko. And so I said, okay. So I went to my front porch and I said, oh, actually, I don't need to go on my garage roof. I can see the ocean from here. And he said, okay, look toward Alamoana Beach and look up. And I said, okay, I'm looking. And I'm like, what am I looking for? And he said, an orange, glowing, like a piece of the sun left the sun and formed into an egg and is floating above the ocean. And I started laughing at him and I said, what the heck are you smoking?
Give me
You
some.
better blow that stuff out. And then he started laughing and then he goes, I'm serious. And I'm like, I'm serious too. Blow out, exhale. And he was like, no, look. And I'm like, I'm looking. I don't see anything. And he said, just keep looking. You'll see it. And so I'm looking and I'm squinting and I'm looking. And then all of a sudden, there it was. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? He goes, right? And I was like, what is that? And he said, I don't know. We're all staring at it. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, so this is when.
Mm-hmm. Wait, can I stop you for a second? How big was this thing? If you look, I mean, could you describe maybe and give an idea, or is it too hard to?
Well, from my house to Alamoana Beach is a couple of miles, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it was like the tip of an eraser off of a pencil. That's how small it looked to me.
Okay.
Like it was tiny because it was far.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking and looking, and I was just like, what is it doing? And he said, I don't know. It's been sitting here for a while. And, he was down there fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go fishing that day. So they were down there fishing. And so I was just like, oh my God, that's so creepy. And I was like, let me call you back. So, this is when we had, do you remember those flip phones that were called razors?
Yes, I remember those. I had one.
And it was like, it was a brand new phone, and I was like, come on, phone camera. That's when the phone camera sucked. So I'm trying to record this thing, and it just would not focus up, to the little egg.
Mm-hmm.
So I called him back, and I was like, this is so crazy. And he said, I know, we're all staring at it. We're here at the beach. We're all staring at it. We don't know what it is. And I was like, is anyone recording it? Like, send it to the news channel, send it to the news. And he said, yeah, somebody's recording it. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, tell him to send it to the news station. And then so he did. And then in the corner of my eye, I kid you not, there was another one. So I'm right in the valley of Nu'uanu. And to my right is Aleva Heights. Mm-hmm. To my left is Pacific Heights. Mm-hmm. Right above the mountain, above Aleva Heights, there was another one floating there at the top of the ridge. Mm-hmm. Just floating there. And it was about the size of an egg. And it was bright, glowing orange, like a piece of the sun was just floating right there in the shape of an egg. And I was just like, oh my God. And I looked and I said, hey, you guys, come here. Look at this. And everybody's like, what the heck is that? And I said, I don't know. And then I looked back at the one at Alamoana thinking maybe it flew that fast. But no, the one at Alamoana was still there. Mm-hmm. It was floating there. The one above Aleva Heights was floating there. Mm-hmm. And then when I looked at the one at Alamoana, I saw another one in my periphery above Pacific Heights. So there were 3 of them at one time. And this is broad daylight. Mm-hmm. Broad daylight.
Were any of them bigger than the other ones because of their distance?
So, to me, they looked all the same.
Okay.
The size. And they were all the same color. They were all, bright orange, like the sun. Mm-hmm. And it was a cloudless day. It was bright, sunny, a typical Hawaii day. And all of a sudden you could hear the helicopter blades just from a distance. And I was like, ooh, the military is coming.
I've experienced that.
So I could hear it. The propellers, really loud propellers. Mm-hmm. And then it just stayed there, like it didn't care. Mm-hmm. It stayed there for a long time, and then, well, I say a long time, but several seconds. And all of a sudden, you could hear a jet coming. And so this thing that was floating above Aleva Heights and the thing that was floating above Pacific Heights flew so quickly to Alamana Beach that the jet, and you know how fast jets are.
Of course.
It's hard to outmaneuver a jet. This jet looked like it was in slow motion in comparison to these little egg-shaped things. That egg-shaped thing, within a second or two, went from above Aleva Heights and above Pacific Heights and converged to the one at Alamoana Beach, like that, like just boom, and it was there. And the jet, I swear, it looked like it was slow motion. It was just, and I've never seen a jet that up close. I mean, it was following it, and it was just going down toward Alamoana Beach, and it looked so slow in comparison when it was just going, so slow. But it was going so fast. And when the two that were above the mountains reached the one at the beach, they did this little twisty, twirly dance, all three of them. They just kind of twirled together and went up into the sky and disappeared. I mean, quickly, too. And that's the last I saw of that one.
Ah, wow.
Then, by the time they did their twisty, twirly dance and flew up into the sky, then the double-bladed, I don't know what it's called, the Huey or something, the military helicopter, the double-bladed helicopter, finally made it over the mountain and then was headed to follow the jet. And it was pretty crazy. All these military planes and jets and helicopters trying to catch up, but they were gone by the time they even tried to catch up to them. They were gone already.
Phenomenal experience.
Oh my God, that was so weird.
Hold on,
I was in shock for a while, just kind of like, what did I just experience?
Well, of course.
What was that? Did I just see a UFO? Did I just see 3 UFOs? I mean, it was exciting, and it was just kind of like, and broad daylight. When you think of UFOs, you always see movies and stuff. It always happens at night, and this is broad daylight. Broad stinking daylight. I couldn't believe it.
Amazing. Aristocat, hello. Who else is here tonight? We have people coming in.
Corey's here.
Did I say hi to everybody?
Hi, Aristocat. Hi, Aloha.
People at El Sonidity, OP. Hi, KO, King, Opa.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Dave.
Hi, everybody that's here, Dave, and all of the rest of the people that came in. Thank you for being here. If you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing. I would really appreciate that. It's really weird that you bring it up because the flap that took place in 1995, the sighting was the first wave was near Kaneohe Marine Air Corps Base. So I called those guys up, man. And I said, hey, and typical, somebody answers and says, hello, yada, 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 I'm so-and-so. I said, yeah, do you guys see something above your base right now? Because I just saw this big object just fly right above you. And from underneath it, there were smaller objects that came out. So I said, you guys seeing anything over there? I said, well, we're not too sure. Let me connect you to somebody else. So they connected me to somebody else. Long story short, by the time I got to the 3rd or 4th person that I talked to, they said, we don't really see anything on our radar, but can I have your name and phone number? We can send someone to talk to you. It's like, no. I won't say the rest of it, but the military gets really interested when you tell them that there's something going on outside, especially if it's above their military base. They get very, very interested about that kind of stuff. And also, I just want to chime in really quick, because I never said this before, but during the flap of 95, when those UFOs were showing up every night, all of a sudden, we started to see military personnel just kind of hanging out on the road going up to the park where we were filming them at. So that was really interesting because we never expected to see military, So again, just odd stuff with that kind of a connection. So anyway, you saw and you had another encounter. First of all, let me ask you before we move into the next one, how did you feel after all of that? What was your feeling? What were you feeling like?
Just shocked. I mean, just literally standing there just like, what did I just experience? What was that? Confusion and awe and just wishing that I had a video camera work so I could capture that, because that was amazing, and it just kind of opened my mind to, okay, either the military is hiding something from us and they're experimenting on something that even their own branches don't know about because they were getting chased, or there's something that, it's just unidentified and it's from outer space, from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a trip. It was a trip. It was very interesting.
I think it kind of just blows your freaking mind, man.
It
Because
blew my mind,
yeah,
most definitely.
yeah, it just
Yeah.
blows your mind. There's no way, because you know the thing with UFOs, there's nothing to compare it with. What was that?
Um, my favorite professor ever, 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 ever
Yeah,
is on right now.
he's on. He's
Joe.
watching.
Yeah, Joe.
Oh, awesome! Thank you for being here,
Yeah.
guys. Appreciate it. Please let people know if you like this kind of conversations and such. We do shows. A couple of times a year, if not more, where we talk with people like Faye and such. But that, yeah, I was gonna say, sorry about that. There's just nothing really. You can't compare what you're seeing with anything else. Sure, people have said the most outrageous things about, oh, it's swamp gas, oh, it's some kind of it's a weather balloon or something. It's like, yeah, but weather balloons don't travel at the speed of light and do all kind of crazy maneuvers. I think we're just trying to shuffle the deck of cards and confuse the public at times when we say stuff like that, because you have nothing to compare it with, right? I mean, what you saw, well, what egg-shaped object can I compare this to that I see every day, right?
I don't understand how it even flew that fast. Like, what was propelling it,
Yes.
Like, it's the shape of an egg.
Mm-hmm.
How does it move so fast where it can outmaneuver military jets?
Mm-hmm.
How does it do that? How does it fly so fast?
Mm-hmm. I totally
Yeah,
agree
it's
with you.
it's crazy. Hee swamp gas. Joe.
Yeah. Yes, we have a lot of swamp gas from Kauai, Nui Marsh and such. So it just gets up into the atmosphere and messes with people. But so you had two, right? So you had another encounter.
Yeah.
This one was what, nighttime?
This one was early, early in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What were you
Okay.
doing at the time?
So we're out in Honolulu, and it was my son and my cousin, and we were fishing, and we're just doing like this all night fishing thing, and we're just talking story, and I started talking about my experience with the story I just told all of you to my cousin, and I told him I don't know what that was, and it blew my mind, and it was so crazy, and my cousin was just kind of like, yeah, yeah, whatever. I believe you saw something, but I need to see it myself to believe that things like that exist. And I said, okay, well that's fair. I felt the same way. But let me tell you, and I was telling him the story, and he was just like, oh, ha ha ha, yeah, whatever. And then mid sentence he stops and he goes like this, what is that? And I was like, shut up. And then he goes, seriously, what is that? And he's doing this, he's pointing up into the sky. And he's going, what is that? And I was like, falling star, because we see a lot of falling stars. He said, it's a falling star. And then he said, no, 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 it's not disappearing, because, falling stars dissipate. They fall hard and fast, and then they kind of burn out.
Mm-hmm.
This one went all the way across the sky behind us toward the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I swear, it flew all the way across the sky. And I was like, oh yeah? And he goes, did you see it? And I said, I missed it. I don't know what you were looking at. And let me just tell you about this night. No clouds in the sky.
Okay.
Clear, clear, clear sky.
Okay.
The stars were shining. It was a gorgeous night. And then he was like, that was so weird. And I was like, see? Ask and you shall receive. You said you're not going to believe until you see something, right? Now you saw something. And he's like, what the heck is going on? And he started getting scared a little bit. And then, tell me why this happened. That same thing came back.
Whoa.
It flew across the sky, all the way across, over the mountains.
Yes.
And so my cousin's already on edge, right? And he keeps looking up at the sky to see if it's going to come back or something. And I was like, I don't think that's going to happen. But he kept looking and he goes, what the hell? and he pointed and he goes, "It's coming back! It's coming back!" And I was like, "What?" So I looked up and I said, "Oh my God, what the frick?" And that thing joined up with a bunch of other ones that were in the sky, kind of like dancing around. And
That's
I was just
interesting.
like, "What the heck?" So 4 o'clock in the morning, it's still pitch black dark.
Mm-hmm.
And this night, I kept telling him, because when you fish at night a lot, like I do, you kind of start to know the stars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what belongs where. You start to identify. Oh, that's Orion's belt, or that's Scorpio, or that's you start to teach yourself. Oh, that bright star right there, that kind of orange, that's Venus, and right below that, and you start to know the stars.
Right.
That night, I kept telling my cousin, I was like, "It's just me, or is there like a lot of stars out tonight?" Which is
Haha.
so weird thing to say because the stars are the stars; they're not going to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I was just like, "Yeah." I told him, "Is it just me, or are there more than usual, or is it because it's so bright, or it's so there's no clouds?" And there's no light pollution. Is that what it is? Because it just seems like there's too many stars out. And he said, "Yeah, I was thinking that too, but I thought maybe the same thing. That it was just there's less light pollution out here that we're seeing more than normal." And I said, "But this isn't the first time we're fishing out here, right? So we know that the stars are going to shine more on that side, but this was excessive. That night it was just excessive. There were just way too many." So we're just sitting there for a while. Both of us are quiet. My son is quiet too because we're all just looking at the stars like, "Why are those stars moving? I don't understand why this little cluster of stars are kind of dancing together. Why are they moving? Stars don't do that. The stars just sit there, and as we turn, they move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Slowly. They rise and they set, just like the moon. The moon rises and it sets. Everything rises and it sets. They don't dance." So I was just kind of like, "What is happening right there? Why are they dancing?" And I looked at my cousin and I was like, "Why are they dancing?" He goes, "I don't know." And then when our eyes focused even more, we saw that there were 2 rows of stars, and it looked almost militarized, like they were 2 by 2
In a
in
pattern.
well, yeah. So they were just like if you were in formation, if any of you
Yeah,
ever know
that's a good
you're in
word.
formation,
Yeah.
it's just 2 by 2, and they were in 2 columns, and they were all moving toward the horizon. And so I posted this on my Facebook account the night or the day that it happened. And I tried to explain as much as I could, in words of what happened that night, because I was freaked out. I thought Armageddon was happening. I was just like, "What is happening?" So some people said that it was the satellites, but when I looked up the satellites, there's only 1 row of satellites that go in the sky. It did look similar to that, except it was going out toward the horizon, and there were 2 rows of them
Right.
going out like this. It was like wider where we were, and then it was kind of converging, as it hit the horizon, and they were just moving toward the horizon. So we were in Honolulu, and it was going out toward the horizon. I don't know what it was, but there were so many of them, and they all looked like stars. They all looked like stars. The 2 rows were just moving 2 by 2, going out to the horizon. There was a bunch of them on the side, maybe about, I don't know, 3 or 4 on the side, just kind of like dancing or whatnot. There were more, like 3 or 4 on the side, on the other side of the 2 rows, dancing and doing something. And then once in a while, one would move out of the formation, not the formation, out of the little dancing things, groups, and it would move out, and then it would go back into the group. So yeah, it was so eerie. And my son, he's such a jokester. He starts playing that Terminator song, like the end of the world is gonna happen.
Yeah, I would,
I'm
honestly,
like, stop it. But
listening to
we're
you
freaking
say
out.
all
It was
this,
scary. Like
I would
I
think
legit was
Armageddon.
scared.
Yeah, I would think Armageddon.
Yeah,
I
I don't know what it was.
yeah, that's the, well, and plus, there's, ooh, we lost Faye. Hold on, guys. Let's see if we can reconnect with Faye. Alexa, Skype Faye Okamoto.
Calling Faye Okamoto's mobile using Skype to phone.
Oh,
You don't
shucks.
have enough Skype credit to make this call.
I know what I
To
did wrong.
manage your Skype
Alexa,
credits and
stop.
subscription.
Alexa, stop. Um, Alexa, Skype Faye Cam Okamoto.
Calling Faye Cam Okamoto on Skype.
Let's see if this works. Okay, we're back. I don't know. It was the aliens. It was the aliens and a conspiracy with Amazon.
Talk
Yeah,
about them.
yeah. Sorry about that. That kind of stuff happens. Just when we get to the nitty gritty good stuff,
Yeah.
they don't want us talking about them, and I'm sure that they may possibly be listening to what we do here on Earth. It's possible. Um, yeah, I mean, if I saw that, I would think end of the world. Oh my God, what are we going to do now? How are we going to handle a fleet of? That's what it's called. They're called a fleet. A fleet.
Yeah, it was a fleet.
A
It legit was a fleet.
yes, that's what they're called.
Joe from Hawaiian Hauntings is saying, I want to say 95 had the UFO over the H3.
That's right.
Had military personnel there enforcing no trespassing, shoot on sight. What the heck?
It was crazy. Let me tell you something. A lot of the UFO activity gravitated towards H3, which was under construction back then. And so it was around that area. There's also a very famous, I'm not going to say what it is, but there's a road up on Haiku that goes to a place that has a I'm not going to say what it is, but I can see where they would be interested in that as well. Because there's so many classic, I can't even begin to tell you, classic stories of UFOs going over military bases or places where they have nuclear weapons, which is even worse because they don't know what to do with that. That's near, dangerous weaponry. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I believe with what Joe said happened because the military were on alert at that particular time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just crazy.
Corey said, if you see a satellite after 9 p.m., it's not a satellite. Why?
Interesting.
Corey, you have to explain. I don't, like, I'm not like one of those people who know about satellites and stuff, so you have to explain, like, why.
Well,
after 9 p.m.
when I was a kid, my dad used to take us outside. I mean, he was a big UFO enthusiast. So back then, no internet, no nothing. You go out there with these little camping cots. You set them up on the grass, and you lay on them, and you look at the sky. And after a while, like what you said, you can tell when it's a satellite. A satellite will move in a certain trajectory. It never changes its course, and you just can, after a while, you can tell it's man-made. But when you see something in the sky, like what I saw, and it's moving in the sky, and at first you're like, is that a satellite? And then it did something one night that was incredible. If you ever took a rock and you ever like threw it at the water and it would skip across the surface, this
Yeah.
light in the sky did that. It went poink, 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 right across the sky like that. I was like, that looks like a rock skipping. It's skipping. It's just going across the sky. Bing, 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 bing. And I'm like, oh, that's just crazy stuff. So you see these things. I remember one time, it was in high school. I just got home. It was near sunset, and I'm walking up the hill to go to my house, and I see like these two saucers. One is white and one is orange, and they're like there towards the horizon, but they're separate. And then they started coming together, and they were like floating above each other. The weird thing is, I knew I had binoculars, so I went running up the hill to get the binoculars. And what my brother told me is when I went to go get my binoculars, one of them went in the direction that I was going in. So you explained.
What? It was following you.
It was following me. Damn thing was following me. By the time I came back, they went back together, one above the other, and they, like what you said, is shot straight up in the air. But this was big. This wasn't small. This is like, if these were ships and they're in the sky, they got to be motherships. They were just really, really big and spooky looking, and it just went and it was gone. And that's the thing that's scary, is when they acknowledge you and they follow you.
Yeah.
That is spooky,
That's
So
crazy.
I've
Oh,
seen.
Corey said it has to do with the position of Earth and the sun, since satellites reflect the sunlight. So the things that we saw that night that looked like stars, could they have reflected the moonlight? Or would it have been that bright? Or could you even see them if it was at night, like 4 o'clock in the morning? There's no sun yet at all.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, are they reflecting starlight or anything at all?
Yeah.
I
Because
see
I
what you're
mean, they
saying.
legit looked as bright as the stars, the ones that I saw.
Yeah, I've seen
No.
those.
Corey said no.
No, okay. Yeah,
Wow. So they weren't satellites then.
crazy. And again, I think one of the best UFO stories of all time here in Hawaii was the one with the Makapu sighting. Makapu, you guys want to
Yeah.
see UFOs, go Makapu. Go pull your car over to the side of the road somewhere. Just don't tell them I sent you. And go look at the sky, and you see some crazy stuff. So one night, how people, they have like these paranormal encounters by the sea cliffs, and they see like Pele and stuff. One night, this car was just going down by the sea cliffs, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden, from above, there just came this round, saucer shaped object, and it just went directly onto the road, and the person that was driving the car just stopped. So, you know what they call that, right? That's a close encounter of the second or third kind maybe, because you're seeing it. Fourth kind, I think, is actual communication. So imagine
Perception.
that, man. Imagine that, and you can't go anywhere until they say so. What a
That's
sense of losing
crazy.
power. I know that's of
That's
helplessness.
crazy.
It is. And then it just, eventually went up into the sky and disappeared. And I remember that incident because it was on that show, The Hawaiian Moving Company. That is a phenomenal, phenomenal story of a UFO encounter here in Hawaii. Let's see what Melody of the C78 is saying. My grandfather and uncle have very interesting stories about when they were in the military. Both have said that triangular ones are ours. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, third is contact. I'm sorry.
They just
Third is
heard.
contact. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I just saw a show about military releasing information from the 60s, and yeah, they were showing all of these triangular ones.
Yeah,
So,
that's
but I
Project Blue
mean,
Book.
explain the ones that look like eggs.
Actually, I've heard of those, Faye. I did. There was a magazine called Saga, and Saga would put in stories about Bigfoot, UFOs, and other paranormal stuff. And there were
Yeah.
stories about, I think it was in Mexico, um, that there were these egg-shaped objects that landed. That was a encounter of the third kind, and then humanoid entities came out, not grays, but humanoid, like what I saw flying above the other UFO. So yeah, that just popped in my head because you kept saying egg. I'm like, oh my god, that was in a
Yeah.
magazine that I read. Yeah, so crazy stuff.
I've never heard of that magazine,
Yeah,
but those things that I saw, man, I still think back and just like try to debunk anything, like, and I can't. What I saw is what I saw, and I wasn't alone. Like everybody in my house saw it, everybody at the beach saw it, and it was even, I believe it was on KITV News, or was it KHON, one of those two, and they showed a clip of it. Somebody sent them um a little clip of what they caught, and you can see it looks like an egg that has sunlight in it.
it's interesting. When I had the flap thing happen, Dick Algier from KITV4, who lived in Kaneohe, wanted to know more, so he came out with us. Matter of fact, one night we're looking up in the sky out at Haiku Park, and we're looking up in the sky, and we see this object come out. And by the way, people were saying, "Oh, orange." Yes, these objects that I saw were all orange except for the triangle one. Anyway, I
Was
see
it
this
day or
object,
night?
huh?
Day
And
or night?
night, all night. So it,
All night. It
yeah,
was orange at night.
at night, all orange ones. So this,
Really?
yeah, so this
Huh.
object flies above us. So we got binoculars already, right? So we look at it, say, yeah, it's a freaking lantern, there's a light in it. It was Dick Algeier. He wanted to fool us to make us think, oh, maybe is that a UFO? But pretty cool though. Actually, what he did was I know, I'm sorry. He also wanted to see if it could be recreated by people, but it's not people. It's not actually. There's somewhere there's the KITV4 came with Dick Algar, and we walked up H3. We found a path, and we walked up on the side of the mountain, and we saw these things come from the ocean and slowly float over us and stuff like that. So that's why it's interesting with what Joe said from Hawaiian Hauntings, because we were actually watching as these things would just come in and do their thing, and then it's weird. Some of them would just, it looked like it went out like a flare, then it would come back on. It would do weird aerial maneuvers. And so it's just really hard to pinpoint when they do that. But you know what you were saying about the helicopter, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So on the very last night of the flap, I felt something. Oh, wait, let me tell you something about the beginning first. The first
Okay.
time this all happened was the night before the UFOs. And I was laying in bed and I opened my eyes and I saw what looked like a white laser go across the room and into the corner of the ceiling and explode into light. I was like, what in the world was that? And then all these things happened. When the UFOs started to show up, I'm not joking, Faye. When they started to show up, it was like I could kind of like know when they were there. As a matter of fact, MUFON showed up. You know what MUFON is?
That's the group, right?
Yeah,
UFO group.
Mutual UFO Network.
Yeah.
And I told them about the laser in the ceiling. And they asked me, well, do you have any weird markings on you? I said, no, but I have this rash. And they said, show us the rash. Show us your rash. And I'm like, why? He goes, because some people who get abducted, they get a rash on their body. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, excuse my language. Like, what are you guys think I'm an abductee or something? But so anyway, so I could kind of tell when they were around. So the last night I could feel there was a craft, an aerial craft above my house. So I went outside and I looked up in the air and there was a UFO. I'm like, oh my God. So I tell my friend, let's get in a car and go check it out, because it was going towards Haiku.
Yeah.
Guess what, Faye? When we got in the car and we were pulling out of the driveway, a black helicopter showed up. No markings on it at all. Those helicopters are well known with
Yeah.
UFO sightings. Unmarked helicopter. And it was above our heads. It was so low. And then it went after the object, and the object just went over the Koaloa mountain range. It just went right above it, and the helicopter couldn't even keep up with it, but it went chasing after it. But I could see that it was a black helicopter because it was that low. No markings on it at all. And
Crazy.
that is scary.
Maybe Aloha said maybe they suppressed your memory of abductions.
Well, that's a nice thought, Aloha. Thank you for sharing that with me. Is that possible? Yes, that is possible. Let's see. What did Aristocat say? What did she say? What is she saying?
She said, when we lived in Hawaii Kai up Mariner's Ridge, my sister saw colored lights floating out to sea at 2 a.m. That one morning.
Holy cow. See, people see things,
Yeah.
People experience that stuff.
Yeah. So what do you think about this last thing that was on the news recently about that blue thing that was out on the ocean?
Oh my God. I missed that, but if you tell me about it, I can give you my impressions.
It was on the news,
Mhm.
and it was just legit something that either, I don't know, do you guys remember? Was it that it came out of the ocean, or did it drop into the ocean? Or did they ever
Oh.
figure out what it was? I didn't really keep up with what happened. Somebody just told me about it, and I kind of looked at it and then
Yes. Ooh.
into the ocean.
Yes.
Okay.
There are. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
what they speculate is there are alien bases under the ocean. That's the speculation, and that some of these craft go like way deep, like into the waters where nobody can follow them. People have seen them in boats that were on the ocean. They see them like moving around underwater. That's some creepy stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It flew above the ocean, into it, then back out. That's what Aloha said.
Oh, maybe they're on vacation. Um, it flew above the ocean into it, then back out. That is crazy. Like
Yeah.
then again, these things, they're terrifying. It's like it's bad enough they're flying above. The thing about UFOs is that they can do whatever the hell they want, right? And we can't do anything. We can't say anything. We can't stop them. They're just going to do what they want, And I think that's why the possibility is that they're starting to maybe give out this information to the public because just like you can now document it and such. And what are they going to do? You can't keep saying it's swamp gas.
Yeah.
You just can't.
I think, back in the 60s, when we were having that whole race to the moon and all that, I'm sure they saw a lot of things, and because our technology was increasing to the point where we could leave the planet, it was probably the opening of them contacting us because maybe they thought we were ready for it. But then, of course, our government, would suppress it because they thought that we weren't ready for it, right? So now more and more people are coming out with their experiences and they're able to tolerate what they've seen. And, I think the whole thing was that they were afraid that it would cause mass panic, right? If everybody all of a sudden had the realization that there was life outside of this planet.
Right. Two things real quick here. First, Aloha, is there video of what you're talking about? Joe, why do you find it terrifying? It's been so many years that people have seen these things and nothing catastrophic has happened.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? What's really, really weird, let me share this with you. There's a great radio show that I used to listen to called Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. And one of the things they talked about was that Linda Moulton Hall, who is an expert on cattle mutilation, which is directly connected with UFOs. UFOs would go and collect these cows. I know it sounds funny. I want to see that video. I'll see if I can find it, Allah. Or send me a link, please. They would collect cow. I mean, these UFOs would show up above a pasture, pull like these cows into the air. People have seen that, and then the next day they would find cows that look like they were had surgically removed parts of their body. That is interesting. But what's really scary is they started doing it with human beings. So they found people, just like the cattle, found dead, and parts of their bodies were surgically removed. So that's scary. And the other thing that's scary too, I'm just trying to answer a question, is what 13 Souls said. 13 Souls said, he said, there's reports of them turning on nuclear codes. Are they letting us know that they can, again, do what they want? And what about the human mutilation instead of the cattle mutilation? That's scary stuff. So yeah, that's what I think. I think that as much as there's nice, there's also spooky. So that's what I think. I don't know about you, but we need to be careful.
I'm just
Wasn't
glad that kind of stuff isn't happening here.
No, thank God.
Is it?
Could be. I mean, put it to this way. And this is a scary thought. What if some of the missing person reports are people that were abducted and never came back? Skinwalker Ranch mutilations. Yes, Skinwalker Ranch is a very well-known paranormal hotspot. Carla says, wasn't the cow stuff in Nebraska? It could be. I know it was around, it's just around the world, you know? I mean, look at crop circles. Can you explain that? It's like alien graffiti. Alien graffiti, you know? It's like, but it looks like it makes sense if you see a crop circle. It's like, it's trying to tell us something, you know? It's just really crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I just, I want to see this video that you guys are talking about. Allah said the video is out there of the UFO going into the water, moving around, and coming back up. It's getting more crazy. I think what's possibly happened, like what you saw, Faye, is that they're getting more bold. That's what it looks. That's didn't it? Doesn't it feel like they just, hey, we're here? That's what it sounds like with your sighting.
Yeah. That fleet that I saw, that was eerie. Like it really, the feeling I got from that, because of just the sheer amount of them that I saw, there had to have been at least 100 of them. There was a humongous, just a fleet of them flying into the horizon, and it was slow. It wasn't like they were all zooming toward the horizon. It was just like a slow flying, just a slow cruising toward the horizon. And then, on, like I said, it was like troops just marching into the horizon, and then the drill sergeants on the side just going, hurry up! Just like they were on the side, just like making sure they're all aligned and just keeping them on track kind of thing. That's what it seemed like. I don't know what they were doing, but yeah, just the sheer amount of them, it was nuts. And I was trying so hard to find out if it was shown anywhere else. Like the Big Island, they have their what is it called? Their telescopes, all of that stuff, and I was like hoping, and they have like a 24-hour thing, right? The Big Island, where you can go on and you can log on and watch stuff, and I was hoping that they had something on there, like they had caught something, but I wouldn't even know how to ask or what. But yeah, that. Do you guys know if they record their things? Because I could definitely go back on my posts and see exactly what day it happened.
Oh, that's a good point. By the way, thank you for the people that have been giving likes. Likes really help my channel out. So thank you again. If you like this kind of conversations, I truly appreciate it. Interesting thing to point out too, Faye, is that there have been multiple reports of people that work at military bases, and these fleets of UFOs and such, they show up. It doesn't even show up on radar. But then you think about it, it's advanced technology, right? So that part makes sense, it's just advanced technology. It's really
Corey, you seem to know a lot about this stuff. Do you keep up with it? Is that how or is this like an interest for you? Corey is like giving us a lot of facts.
Very interesting stuff tonight.
You're an
with UFOs.
astronomer? Cool.
Oh, cool. I didn't even know that.
You should have Corey on the show and talk to Corey. Corey, you want to join us on
Corey,
Skype right now?
I would love to have you on the show, my friend.
Corey should join us on the show now.
If you can. I don't know how to do.
Corey, you want to come on?
I don't know how to do three-way though. Here's a link to one of their videos on missing people turning up. Thank you, Melody. I will definitely check this out later on. The space station live cams have caught many. Yes, it's true. Melody says, Grandpa used to say they have cloaking. Absolutely. I totally believe all of this stuff. The thing too is that I'm kind of worried with what Faye said with her sighting. What if one day they show up the way they did at night? It's just an idea. I'm not saying people panic. But what if they showed up and decided to do more than what they just showed Faye? What if they wanted to do that? Another thing, Faye, I want to bring up to you is the fact that maybe there was recognition. Didn't you say that this object moved over the mountains and came back?
Yeah.
You guys were talking about what was going on, right? With the object.
Yeah, and my cousin was a non-believer, and he said, I'm not going to believe until I see. And then right then and there, mid-sentence, he stopped and he said, what is that? And I said, asking, and I told him, ask and you shall receive.
Yep. But I'm sure they can monitor us, you know?
Yeah, sure.
I'm pretty sure they can monitor us. So when
But I just have to say that my cousin was tripping. He was just like, "What is happening right now?" And now he's a believer.
oh yeah, I mean, I would when it's undeniable, what are you going to do? You know, what I
Hmm.
mean, what if they land? What if one of them landed right next to you guys? It's like, well, we can't turn on your phones. You know, take some,
Oh my
take some
god, that's
video.
not even funny.
Yeah.
And then you try to leave, right, and your car won't start.
Yes. 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 Like on that.
Just as long as I can run faster than one of them, then I'm fine. No, I'm just like,
Wow. Yeah, that's true. Aristocat said something interesting. I mean, Ozzy said they know more about us than we know about them.
oh yeah.
That's an interesting point.
We were talking about the ocean earlier, right? It's said that we know more about outer space in our universe
Hmm.
than we do about our own ocean. We haven't explored our own depth of our oceans as much as we have explored outer space.
Oh, heck yeah. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, it's been said that things have been washing up on shore. Did you see that? Weird
Mhm.
things have been washing up on shore. We don't even know what the hell they are. Some kind of
Mhm.
life form, you know? And so, yeah, good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a weird one. My God, this came out of nowhere.
What?
Okay, so years ago, I was out camping and I got to know one of the people that camped there that would come by um, off and on just to go camping. And one day he tells me a story. He said he's out towards Haleiwa side, Wailua. And what happened was, this is going to blow your mind. This alien craft shows up, and like you said, it went into the ocean, poof, into the water. But check this out. He said that he felt something very weird, like a vibe, a vibration or something happen. And as he's looking at the water, what emerges is something that looks like it would live in the ocean, but had a very long neck and one single eye. And it just was looking at him again with that sense of recognition. I can't believe I forgot that story. And
What happened?
yeah, that happened. This object went into the water, and this was years ago. And so when it went into the water, he felt like something weird was around. And then all of a sudden, this thing that looked like it was alien, yet it could live in the ocean, started to submerge. I mean, started to come to the surface. And it had like this very long neck and like one eye with like a weird face on it. And it was just looking directly at him, you know,
What?
almost like it was trying to communicate. I'm not lying. I don't know why the heck that just got buried in my head because not long after that, I got involved with the paranormal and ghosts and everything. But he told me that actually happened in Haleiwa or Wailua. It just went into the water and then this thing came out and it was like looking at him, trying to communicate with him, and then eventually just went under the water and it was gone. Tell me what that is. I don't know what that is. You
Yeah.
tell me, you know? That is just,
Creepy.
that is the most crazy thing I heard. You know, I think that beats the Hawaiian Moving Company story. Very much
What was
so.
the Hawaiian moving company story? Oh, when
The
the
Makapu
car
sighting.
broke down.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is much more crazy than that. Like the abyss, very possible. Yes, very much so. We were just talking about underwater objects, but this person possibly saw what's operating these objects.
Huh.
You know, I don't know. You guys can come to your own conclusion, but that is the story that he shared was some kind of alien monster. They said it looked like it was alien. I think what he said too, it almost had looked like it had armor plating on it, but it looked aquatic, you know, in a way, but just with a very long neck, one eye, and just a weird alien face. What would you do? I mean, would you run? Because he couldn't do nothing. He was just like, amazed by this sighting, and it just looked like it was trying to communicate with him, and it went under the ocean and probably freaked him out for the rest of his life after that. But I had to share that. I never shared that before. Oh my God. Oh my God, that is so crazy.
That would make me become landlocked.
Yes, yeah. I don't want to go in the ocean. I don't want to fish. I don't want to do none of that.
Can you imagine? I mean, if something looked at you like that, like with recognition, like I know who you are, looking at you with its one eye.
Yes, yes, yes. And some kind of weird alien face. I just, and I didn't dispute the guy. I didn't tell him, like, nah, that's not possible. The way he described it, I was like, and his look on his face is like,
This happened to him.
This happened to him. A personal experience.
Wow.
He was at the beach, and then it just, something weird happened, like maybe a door from another dimension or whatever. But he experienced it, and he saw it. And I would never, ever. He saw Pele one time when he lived in a big island, but he said, this just scared me. This absolutely scared me.
So he saw Pele, and Pele didn't scare him, but this thing.
I would be.
Saw Pele too.
I mean, Pele, it would be shocking, but this would be overwhelming, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's something from another world, and it's just in front of you. I mean, what do you do when that happens? Except.
Jeez, I mean, it's enough of a shocker when you see something flying in the sky. To see something that is possibly piloting that thing, that's a whole different sector of, oh my God.
13 Soul said, aim for the eye with the 3-prong. I don't know, dude. I wouldn't want to get this thing angry, and what if there was another one in the ship and they just said, oh yeah, you think that's funny? We're taking you for a ride, and then you're going to come back with parts of your body missing somewhere in Waikiki or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's got to be the most. I can't believe I just forgot about that. It's so mind-blowing. But I want to see the video of the underwater object.
Yeah, Carla. Are we paused?
What happened?
I think it was just my.
Your side?
feed.
Carla says, I don't know why, but I am not afraid of stuff. I seen and know of ghosts, real so. And aliens, they may be just learning and watching us. I agree, Carla. I think they're taking notes. They're watching us. I think that's what they're doing. And then they're reporting it on their version of Facebook. They probably have their version of Facebook, and they post stuff.
And they're saying, oh my God, on Earth they have 2 eyes?
Yeah. Versus our one eye. Allah says, I've never fainted before, but if I saw that, I would faint. LOL. I would faint too, man. I swear to God. If I saw an alien like that, and he said it was pretty big. So he didn't tell me exactly dimensions and all that. He just said, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. I need more information. Where was he exactly when he saw this?
It was like
in the water?
He was it was like Wailua Haleiwa.
No, I mean, like, was he on a boat?
No, he was on like the shoreline, and his thing just flew and went into the water, and then this thing came out.
What do you mean it flew? Like
an object flew into the water, like a UFO.
Oh.
Some kind of weird looking object went into the water. Maybe this thing is the UFO. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But it went into the water, and something came out and terrified the guy.
So like an alien ship flew into the water.
Yes.
And what emerged out of the water was the alien.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Crazy. I wonder how fast that happened.
Must have been fast.
From the time it hit the water, I wonder if it was crash landing then, or was it just? Geez.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a very, very good point. But people experience crazy stuff, and I'm surprised he opened up and told me about it. I was just like, wow, he's sharing this thing with me. But I believed him. I didn't contradict him and say, well, what were you smoking when you saw it? Because he just sounded scared. Even telling me
Yeah.
about it, he was just scared. You know, like you said, I wouldn't go swimming after that. I'd be freaking scared. If I saw that, because I don't know if you're being tracked or anything at all. But yeah, it's just a very weird world that we do live in. Anyway,
That is.
Faye, that was crazy. Thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that
Really,
episode.
Carla? Really? Maybe a whale jumped from heaven back to earth?
Was it Moby Dick? Every once in a while, is there somebody moving behind you? Because I swear I see a shadow moving.
Uh,
Is that you?
no.
What is that behind you?
What do you mean?
In that reflection on your right. Oh, that is you, right? What's
I
behind
don't
you?
know. Let me move.
On your right, there's a reflection or something. It could be somebody, but every once in a while I see like a black shadow.
No, nobody. No, Sean's laying down right here, and then my kids are in their rooms. Nobody else is walking
Oh
around.
my God, is it Shadow Man again?
Maybe.
Is it Shadow Man? It could be Shadow
I
Man.
mean, that square reflection right there is the reflection of the TV. So I mean,
Oh, it's a TV?
yeah, but it's like it's on a gambling show or something. I don't know. I don't know. The TV's watching my husband, so I don't know.
One of those things, yeah. How is Shadow Man lately? Is he pretty active in your home?
I haven't seen him.
You haven't seen him?
I haven't seen him. I do have a sense that something's there peeking, but it's not Shadow Man.
It's not Shadow Man. Hmm.
Yeah, it's not Shadow Man. Shadow Man makes himself known. But yeah. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, from the time I was about 14, I've had like this shadow person that would peek out from my hallway area where the door is, and he would just kind of like, just peek out at me like this, and then when I would look, he would recede really fast, but not fast enough so that I didn't get like a small glimpse. So yeah, that's what we're talking about right now. Haven't seen him, but yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? I know you express interest in going out and looking for UFOs at night. Do you know that I think I shared this with the audience before, that there is a prevalent theory that I read up about from the beginning when I started doing actual EVP work. And they say one of the theories is that you're not actually just hearing ghosts, but aliens trying to talk. So here's a wild thing for you to look at. What if we see an alien craft and I turn on my S box and ask if
That would
they
be interesting.
ask if they can talk to us?
Yeah. I wonder if they know our. I guess they would know our language, right? Because they're so technologically advanced compared to us. They would be able to somehow understand and communicate, right?
Yes, absolutely. I've always thought about this. That what if they show up and I just turn on the S box and ask them to talk to us and see what happens? Because they have done things that freaked me out. Like when I was a kid, I think I shared this before. One night I went outside with my flashlight, and when I went out, I took the flashlight because there were stories back then of people flashing their flashlights in the sky and something responding. So I'm just a kid doing Morse code. And then all of a sudden, I see a star start doing that back to me, like it's doing Morse code. Yes, 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 for real. And so I get freaked out, and I turned around and I started running back to my house because all of a sudden, that light started coming closer and closer. And I swear, as I ran down the hill, that light was above me. So it's like, if they can respond to that, why not an S box?
Aussie Tiger said, I think that 66% of the UFOs we see are man-made.
Okay.
But what about the 44% that
Um,
aren't man-made?
you know what's interesting about all of this? Do you know why they think that we are making alien craft? Do you know why? Because of the Roswell incident back in the 1940s with that crash that they had, that UFO, because they said that the government came and they took the alien craft and went to wherever they went with it, Area 51 or whatever. But from what was extracted from the craft was all the technology we have today. Computers, cell phones, tablets, whatever you want to call it. It's all, they released the technology slowly so that people wouldn't go, what the hell's going on, you know? So
Yeah.
that's, they say, why we are able to create alien craft. The Roswell incident.
Hi, Toki, for you.
Hi, Toki. Good to see you. We're just kind of like talking about UFOs tonight, and I think it's really great once in a while to switch it up and everything.
Carla said she went to a channeler back in the 90s where many aliens came through. So try it. Okay. Well, I guess we have to try it then, Obake.
Yeah, but who's going to be the channeler? I'm not going to have aliens channel through me, but I believe that's possible. What Carla is saying is like, it's like, you know,
No, we lost connection again.
I'm still here. Oh no, we lost Faye. Alexa, Skype Faye.